So here we are with all of our equipment to make our M&M cookie bars today. Some of the things I would like you to consider is if your parents aren't at home, you probably shouldn't be cooking and using the oven. So you can do this at your own convenience. Just make sure that somebody is home just to kind of help out, just in case anything goes wrong. So that would be the safest way to do this. So what we have here is we have the equipment we need. We have nonstick spray and some foil. We have a mixer. I have two different types of mixer here. This is called a hand mixer. This is called a stand mixer. Doesn't really matter which one you use. This one's going to require a little more effort than this one. This one kind of does the work for you. So if you have either one of these, you're going to need that. We'll talk about what to do if you don't have a mixer too here in a minute. A wooden spoon or a rubber scraper. I actually found when I made this yesterday that the rubber scraper is going to be a better choice, especially if it's like has a tough top where it won't bend too much. This is probably going to be the better choice. You need a medium to large size bowl like this. And a few things that you might need that I didn't put on the list is a cookie sheet. This little pan came from the dollar store and it's a little flimsy when you're messing with it. So being able to set it on a cookie sheet to take it in and out of the oven would be good. And then also you're going to need to crack an egg. And so a small bowl, I have a glass bowl here, it could be anything, but where you crack the egg in it, just make sure there's no shells before you dump it into your bowl. You could crack it on the side of the bowl, but if a shell gets in there, it's gonna be a lot harder to find. So a little tiny bowl for that process would help too. Let's go over our ingredients. All of this together, all your equipment and your ingredients here, this is called mise en place. You have everything in place ready to cook. I've already done your measuring for you. This tall one is your flour. It also includes your salt and baking soda. This one has your M&Ms and your chocolate chips in it. We have 2 bags of sugars, white sugar and brown sugars. And then we have a little teaspoon of vanilla. And then we have butter and an egg. Your butter needs to be softened. So if you forgot to soften it and you need to get it softened pretty quick, you can put it in the microwave for like 8 seconds and then rotate it, like flip it over, and then do 8 more seconds, so a total of 16 seconds. But if you melt this butter, you're not gonna get the same result as if you did it. The best thing to do is to leave it out on the counter for 30 minutes to an hour. This is why you've got to look ahead. You've got to read your recipe and look ahead. You have your pan here, and underneath your pan, inside of here, is your recipe. So there's your recipe. Do not leave this on the bottom of here to cook. This is plastic and it will melt. You're gonna set this to the side. This will be great for after you're done. You can put the little lid on top. But do not use it for baking. Do not use it. Set this thing aside. Make sure you do not use this. You will just use this. So I gave you some tips on softening the butter. If you don't have a mixer for some reason, if you let your butter get real nice and soft, you can mix it in with like a fork. You have to like push the fork and the sugars together. It's gonna take a lot longer to get them really nice and mixed, but you can do that. So if you don't have a mixer, there's an option for you. Don't forget that you have to take a picture of your final product after you've finished cooking. You need to get a picture of it because tomorrow's assignment is to fill out a lab reflection form. We won't have a Zoom on Friday. You just need to fill out that lab reflection form and turn it in. The lab reflection form includes a picture. So don't forget to take a picture. One other thing, if you don't have cooking spray before your butter gets too soft, you can put your foil in here, and maybe if you have other butter, you can rub the sides and the bottom with the butter and coat the foil that you put in here, and that will that can replace using this. This is better, but if you don't have this, you can use the butter. All right, you guys have fun cooking. I can't wait to see your results. Thanks. Hey class, we're gonna get started on our M&M cookie bars. First thing you need to do is wash your hands. I've already done that. Normally you'd wear gloves if you're cooking for somebody else, but since you're just cooking for you and your family, you can just wash your hands and use your hands as long as they're clean and you're not touching your face or anything like that. Right here, I kind of have my Mise en Place setup, which I already went through with you. So I have all of that here ready to go. I have my recipe, which is going to be really important. The first thing you need to do is preheat your oven to 325. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. That way it can be heating up while you're doing the rest of your cooking here. Another thing you're going to need is cooking spray and foil. So you're going to need cooking spray and foil. Go ahead and take all your ingredients out of your box here. Remember, you don't need this lid. This is just for storage later. So you can set that to the side. We're going to set all our ingredients out, and we're going to, it says that we need to line our thing with foil. So I'm going to choose out a piece that's a little bit bigger than what I have. They want you to let it overhang so that it's easier to you can just kind of pick those cookie bars out of here whenever they're done. I'm putting my foil inside of my pan here, lining it that way. I might have gotten it a little small on these edges, so I'm pushing it all the way in. I'm not just setting it in there. I'm shaping it the shape of this pan. This pan came from the dollar store, so it's a little flimsy, which is why we grabbed the cookie sheet to put it on later. But I want to make sure that I'm getting my foil down in those corners and making it real flat. So it's like the shape of the original pan. And then I'm going to spray it with non-stick cooking spray. When you're spraying, you might need to tilt it. I kind of always start with my edges and make sure I get the sides really good. And then I kind of spray the bottom. You want these cookie bars to come out, so make sure that you do that. So I'm going to set that to the side for now because we won't need it again until the end of our lesson. You're going to have a large bowl here. I've got a large bowl, and I've got my mixer. I'm not going to plug my mixer in until I'm ready to use it. Remember, you can use a hand mixer or a stand mixer. I thought most of you might have a hand mixer, so that's why I chose this one. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it in now. And in a large bowl, I'm going to cream together the butters, sugars for 1 minute. So here's my sugars. Oops. I want to be careful with that. Put your sugars, their brown sugar and your white sugar, into the bowl. And then you're going to put your butter. Now your butter should be softened. I gave you some hints on what to do if your butter wasn't softened, but it should be other than just waiting. It's always a good idea to kind of clean as you go. So take your trash away, put it in the trash. It will save you time later on, okay? When you're using a mixer, you need to get your beaters in there and then turn it on. If you turn it on and kind of set it in the beaters, set it in the ingredients, everything could fly places. So go ahead and set it in there and then turn it on, and you're gonna cream those together. This may take a little while. It's not really breaking up. It may not be as soft as I wanted it to be. So go ahead and break your butter up. We're going to cream those together, so they should be completely mixed. This is not creamed because I can still see big chunks of butter and little chunks of and pieces of sugar. So I really got to get in here and make sure I'm doing it right. It says for about a minute. Oh, I've got some kind of flying out. My bowl might be a little big. I don't normally use a hand mixer, so kind of doing this on medium speed so I can make sure everything gets together. All right, here's my creamed mixture. It might look different if you did it in a stand mixer, but there's my creamed butter and stuff together. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to crack an egg. Eggs, it says in here, add the eggs and vanilla and mix until combined. So I'm going to take my egg. I'm going to use another bowl just in case if I crack it and I get a shell in there, I don't have to pour my shell in here and try to find the shell in there. So I'm going to use another little bowl, crack my egg in there. I'm checking I don't see any shells, so that's looking good. My vanilla was already portioned, so all I've got to do is pour that in. And then it says mix until it's combined. So we're going to do that again. And I'm going to go on medium speed. Oh yeah, that's looking good. All right, so as you can see, a little creamier now. The next thing it says is add the flour, baking soda, salt, and stir the mixture until just combined. So I'm going to set my mixer aside, and now we're just going to stir it, which means with a spoon or a spatula. This is your flour, and your baking soda and salt was already in here. I went ahead and put it in. So we're going to dump that in there, and we're going to stir it, it says, until just combined. So that means we don't want to overwork this batter. We want to stir it until it's just combined. That's not combined. I still have quite a bit of flour, so that isn't quite there. It's starting to look a little bit better here. I'm stirring it more and more. Now I'm not seeing much flour here. I'm trying to kind of press maybe my sides into some of that flour that is left, and that's looking pretty good there. You see? The last thing we do is fold in our chocolate chips and M&Ms. That was in this bowl. Chocolate chips and M&Ms are both in the same one, and we don't have to do those separately. We can do them together. So I'm going to dump those in, and I'm going to fold, which simply means I'm not just going to stir it like this, because that's not really going to create it. I'm going to kind of fold it and push it down until they get combined. Okay? They kind of mush together. I'm pushing down on it, picking it up, folding it over. Do you see that? Pick it and fold. Pick it up and fold it. Pick it up and fold it over. I'm going to wipe off my spoon here. Since it had kind of some batter right in the inside there, maybe that will help with some of those that were left. All right, then I'm going to take this thing and I'm going to put it in my greased pan here. Sometimes this can be hard, especially if you have a really big bowl. So I'm going to kind of hold mine to the side, and I'm just going to pour it in. And I'm going to kind of pack it down in there. I want to make sure no cookie left behind. My bowl is completely empty. Just scrape my spoon off again and kind of press it down in there. Make it even. I don't want to throw it in there where it's all lumpy like this. I want it to get evenly spread in here where it cooks up nice. You know, this is a little tricky because you want to make sure that you don't have some spots that are really thick and some spots that are really thin. So make sure that you are spreading this out and it's got about the same depth in every spot, because if you don't do that, then one side's going to get real overly cooked and the spot where it's thick is going to will be undercooked. So you want to make sure it's all pressed in there nicely. Doesn't look perfect, but it's not bad. Okay, now I'm going to put this in the oven, and since this pan is a little flimsy, I'm going to put it on a cookie sheet just to keep it from bending when I try to take it out. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the oven over here. I'm going to use my hot pads. Here's my hot pad. Here's a oven mitt. It doesn't matter. You don't have to use one of each. I just wanted to show you the two different kinds. Open the oven door, put it in, and we will let it bake. I'm going to set my timer for 30 minutes. We'll let you know what it's like when it comes out. So my timer just went off, and my cookie bars are ready. It says until the top is barely golden brown. So I'm going to pull mine out and see how the top is barely, I'm going to turn off my timer. The top is barely golden brown. So I think those are ready to come out. I'm not going to eat them right away. They need to cool for a little while. So I'm going to leave them out to cool, probably for about 20 to 30 minutes. So now that the cookie bars are cool, you can pop them out real easy. You just take this foil that was already on it, and they pop right out of the pan. You can take a butter knife like this, and I'm trying to make sure this is in the frame here, and just cut them into sections. Mine is still a little bit warm. Looks like they're going to make about 9 cookie bars. So I cut them into pieces. Check it out. This is already nice and clean. So you can set them right back in here. But you can set them in here. And then you can use the lid, because you need to store them, it says on a recipe, in an airtight container. So you get the lid on there, and now you have cookie bars. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. You're going to fill out the recipe reflection form. That's your assignment for Friday. Don't forget to take a picture. You had to take a picture of your final product, so don't forget to take a picture and put that in your reflection form, and then turn it in. Tomorrow we won't have a Zoom. On Friday, all you have to do is fill out your reflection form with your picture and turn it in. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye.